beginner medical virtual assistant gets confused about how the US health insurance truly works. So in the next few minutes, I will be explaining to you the key terms you must know as a medical virtual assistant in order to understand the US health insurance properly. And I will be explaining this to you in a very simple term and with practical scenarios so that you would understand it better. So be sure to know that by the end of this video, you're going to understand how health insurance works as a professional, and also your role in it as a medical virtual assistant, so that you can confidently explain all of this to your patients, your provider, and even be able to confidently answer interview questions on this. Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Judith, a registered nurse and a medical virtual assistant, and I share practical tips and guides to help you become the best med VA you can be out there. So please do what to subscribe. And to all of my returning subscribers, I welcome you back once again. So what then is health insurance? Health insurance is simply a system that helps people to pay for their healthcare costs. So instead of paying the full amount when they visit a doctor in a clinic, they are able to share these costs with the insurance companies. So how this works is that a patient must have an insurance plan, and this plan has rules and regulations on what services are covered and the services that are not covered in the plan, and how much the patients must pay. Now, for you to understand insurance verifications very well as a medical virtual assistant, you must understand the basics of health insurance. And this means that you must understand copay, deductible, out-of-pocket maximum, premium, and the rest of them. And I'm going to be explaining to you practically what all of these things means. So let's start with copay. A copay is the amount a patient must pay anytime they visit a clinic or a doctor. So let's say it's more like a gate fee the patient pays anytime they go to the clinic for their treatments, okay? Let's go to deductible. Deductible is the amount of money the patient must pay out of their own pockets first, before the insurance company starts helping. So think of it like the patient is loading their wallet. So let's say the patient has a deductible of $5,000 in a year. What this means is that the patient must cover this $5,000 every year before the insurance company steps in to start helping. Now, what is co-insurance? So after the patient has paid their deductible, co-insurance means that the patient and the insurance company starts to share the cost of the patient's healthcare treatments. So for example, the insurance company could pay 80% of the patient's healthcare treatments, while the patient will pay like 20% of the healthcare treatment. That 20% is called co-insurance. So think of it like you are splitting a bill with somebody, but then this bill you are splitting with this person has a fixed amount to it. Now, what is premium? Premium is the amount of money the patient pays every month in order to keep their insurance active. Okay, so think of it like a Netflix subscription. Every month you pay for your subscription, and if you don't pay your subscription for the month, you are being cut off from Netflix. So that is how premium works. That is what premium means. So if the patient is supposed to pay like $100 for their premium, it means that every month the patient must pay that $100 in order to keep their insurance active. Now let's go to out-of-pocket maximum. After all of this explanation, I'm going to give you a practical scenario of this and your role in it as a medical virtual assistant. So what is out-of-pocket maximum? Out-of-pocket maximum simply means the amount of money the patient must pay in a year. After the patient has paid this amount in a year, then the insurance company starts to cover 100% of all of the patient's medical bills. So let's say the patient's out-of-pocket maximum for a year is like $5,000. Once the patient reaches that max of $5,000, the patient is not going to pay anything again except their premium. Now let me give you this practical scenario. Let's say a patient's out-of-pocket maximum is $6,000 in a year, and their deductible is $1,500, and let's say their copay is $25. So remember that I said copay is the amount the patient must pay whenever they visit the clinic, more like a gate fee. Let's say their premium is $130. Okay, now let's see how the patient's journey goes in a year. Let's say in January the patient had a surgery, and the cost of this surgery is $10,000. Now the patient will first of all pay their deductible, which is the amount the patient must pay before insurance starts to help. Okay, now the patient pays this $1,500. Now once you minus $1,500 from $10,000, that means it's remaining $8,500. Now the insurance pays 80% of this $8,500, while the patient pays 20% of it. 20% of 8,500 is 1,700. So far the patient has paid a total of 3,200. The 1,500 of deductible and the 1,700 of co-insurance with the insurance company. Okay, now remember that the patient's out-of-pocket maximum for the year is $6,000. So when you minus $6,000 from 3,200, the remaining amount the patient is going to pay in order to reach out-of-pocket maximum is $2,800. Stay with me. And all of these things happened in January. So let's say from February to September, the patient visited the clinic 20 times. Okay, so what this means is that each of those 20 times the patient visited the clinic, the patient paid a co-pay of $25. Okay, now multiply 25 by 20 times. That means the patient paid a total of $500. It means that the total the patient has paid is now $3,700. Stay with me. Let's say in October, the patient had an emergency surgery and the cost of this surgery was $15,000. But remember that the patient only needs to pay $6,000, and after the $6,000 max, the patient will stop paying anything, and then the insurance company will pay 100% of the patient's bill. Now, in order to reach the $6,000 out-of-pocket maximum, the patient only needs to pay an extra $2,300, and after that, the patient is not going to pay for any more bills, and the insurance company will take care of the 100% of the patient's bill. And that means the patient is not going to pay for any co-pays, the patient is not going to pay for deductible, the patient is not going to pay for anything. So what then is your role as a medical virtual assistant in all of these things? But then before I continue, if you've watched up to this point, please like this video and hit on that subscribe button in order to encourage me to drop more videos every week. Okay, so what then is your role as a medical virtual assistant in all of these things? So as a medical virtual assistant, knowledge of these things helps you to verify the patient's insurance benefits. That is, knowing the rights of the patients when it comes to insurance. So it also helps you to check if your provider is in network or out of network with the patient's insurance company. So what this means is that it helps you to know whether your provider is in contracts with the patient's insurance company, so that it will avoid surprises during billing times. As a medical virtual assistant, you also get to explain these benefits to the patients in a very simple language. Also, understanding health insurance as a medical virtual assistant, it helps you to communicate better. You are also able to support the provider's billing process, because you may not be the actual medical biller, but then you get to support if your provider wants you to. And you also get to avoid errors during scheduling and documentations, okay? Because once you understand this health insurance verifications and medical billing becomes way more easier for you as a medical virtual assistant. Now, if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop your questions in the comment section below, as I would answer every single one of them. And thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.